Hello again, everyone. I'm Gene Valicenti. This is Beyond the Podium, where we go one-on-one with the candidates. State Representative Deb Ruggiero is a Democrat running for lieutenant governor. In your own words, what differentiates you from your opponents?
Well, I'm someone who puts ideas into action. It's what I've done my whole career in the private sector, as a broadcaster and a TV sales manager, as also as a small businesswoman, and in the public sector as a 14-year legislator. I understand now how to make government work for people, whether it's sponsoring Rhode Island's anti-bullying law, because no child should feel unsafe going to school, or it's the renewable energy laws that I've sponsored to reduce electricity costs and create really good green energy jobs in our state, to the tax breaks I've championed for our seniors who are living on a fixed income. So it's about putting ideas into action, and that's what differentiates me from others. It's about results, not just rhetoric.
Explain what you see as the most important issue facing Rhode Island.
Well, I think there are several challenges facing the state. Perhaps the biggest is the economy. The rising gas prices, the high costs of groceries at the supermarkets. It's impacting our families, our seniors on a fixed income. There's also the economic impact of climate change. That's real in our state. It's impacting tourism, property values for many, infrastructure, and the fishing industry. So it's important to put ideas into action, and that's how we create results. So more funding for our senior centers, more funding for childcare so women can get back into the marketplace, mental health services, and supporting our small businesses, in our state. I always say Rhode Island's biggest business is small business. So I intend to be a lieutenant governor that writes legislation, because legislation creates policy, and policy is how we change people's lives.
How are you uniquely qualified to address that particular issue?
Well, I would say my experience as a small business person, I have my own advertising and marketing company. As a legislator who served for 14 years, I've spent 8 years on House Finance framing the state budget. So I understand how to work in the legislature, and I understand how the legislature works, if you can understand how the legislature works. But it's important for the lieutenant governor to be a bridge between the state legislature and the governor's office. I see it almost as an ombudsman office where our seniors should have a voice and come out of the shadows. Our small businesses should be able to have legislation that really impacts them so that they're seen as a partner in our state. And between the Long-Term Care Coordinating Council, which helps aging in place, the Small Business Advisory Council, all under the purview of the Lieutenant Governor's office, I intend to put that to work. And it's way more that should be done that has been done over the past 8 to 10 years.
What question do you wish someone would ask you?
Why don't you ask, what are some of my favorite things to do? I love playing tennis, golf, and I really enjoy gardening and cooking. I have to admit, I find it so therapeutic to spend the morning in the garden and then do some cooking. And I do a lot of thinking while I'm playing tennis and playing golf. It's just relaxing because I work really hard, but I also think it's important that you should play really hard.
Who's your political hero and why?
Eleanor Roosevelt, such an active first lady, a delegate to the United Nations. She fought for racial and social justice. I have a radio show I do called Rhode Island's Amazing Women, which celebrates women in Rhode Island who make a difference. And I end each show with a quote, and I've used so many from Eleanor Roosevelt. And one of my favorite, do not take no from a person who doesn't have the power to say yes. I used to tell that to my salespeople all the time in our meetings. Always go to the decision maker.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice, I would say, tell the people you care about that you love them, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. And call your mother. That's really good advice. Call your mother.